AlphaNerd Entertainment. What is going on, everybody? Steve here from AlphaNerd Entertainment. I want to thank you for dropping by the channel. I want to give you a huge thanks for watching part 1 of my 150 favorite games of all time. Just a reminder that this is my favorite list of all time, and many of your favorites might not make that list, and because of that, I am sorry, but at the end of the day, it is my list, and I had to stay true to what I love and what has made an impact on me in gaming over the past almost 40 years. I absolutely love gaming. I hope you can appreciate that I took the time to put together this huge list and this series that is gonna take us through my 150 favorites. In the last video, we talked about my 101 spot to 150. Today, we're gonna continue that counting backwards from 100 to number 76. So let's not waste any more time at all and dive into my 100th favorite game of all time. And that is Ghostbusters for the Sega Genesis. There are a lot of things I love about Ghostbusters for the Sega Genesis. Mostly, it's animation. I think it's hilarious. Whoever decided to go with the big heads and little bodies is a genius in my opinion. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Tom, who introduced me to this game, and I know he loves it a whole lot more than I do, and I'm sure this game would be even higher on his list than it is mine. There's a lot of awesome things about this game, from its wicked level design to its awesome boss fights. Some levels have upwards 3 mini-bosses before you face a final end boss. Some very memorable bosses, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, are just absolutely classic and legendary. I would suggest using the flame weapon, as in this game you earn money, and you can find money hidden throughout the levels, and you can use that to upgrade your weapons. This game is far from easy, but I also think that's what adds to the experience and adds to the reward of finally beating this game. It's Ghostbusters, which is awesome. It's Sega Genesis, which is clearly awesome, and it is absolutely kick-ass. Definitely one of my favorite shooters of all time. DoDonPachi for the Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1, and also an arcade game is one crazy, badass bullet hell shooter. Made by Cave and Atlas, this game just is the definition of fun. Every time I pick up and play this game, I have an absolute blast. It's just a really well-designed shooter. Considering how many bullets are on screen, the game still gives you the ability to dodge somehow. Now, I have only ever beat it twice to get the true ending, which requires a 1cc and is extremely hard to do, but just to play it for its basic ending is still a whole lot of fun. I just love the crazy huge weapons, insane blaster, if you will, that you can use to just unload on the boss, because you have a bomb and you have this alternate shot that you can use. So there's a lot you can do to your arsenal, and this final end boss is just completely badass looking and really hard to get to. Man, oh man, oh man, Super C for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Well, first of all, I have no nostalgia for this game. I didn't play it growing up, and none of my friends had it either, if you can believe that, as crazy as that is. Because it seems like everybody had this game growing up that I hear about on YouTube, but, well, in my life experience, none of my friends did, and neither did I. So when I played this game for the first time in 2019, I didn't have any nostalgia blinders to affect my view of the game. But I tell you, it didn't take me long to realize that this game is absolutely awesome. I do prefer it over the original Contra, which is actually an incredible game, but I just think Super C is better overall. I think its top-down levels are much better than the running into the screen levels that Contra has. This game is really, really fun. It's challenging. I wouldn't say it's super hard, but I would say for a new player, it's definitely going to be tough. It has wicked awesome bosses, even better music, and truth be told, there's not anything I can say that already hasn't been said about Super C. That it's excellent. It's Super C. Number 97, G Darius, originally released on the PlayStation 1, is my 97th favorite game. When I heard this game was being re-released on the PlayStation 4, I had to get it because, well, the PS1 copies are few and far between to find, and they're quite expensive. This game is just a fever dream of creativity. There are so many things I love about this game, from its branching paths in each stage to its overall branching paths that give you multiple exits throughout the game. There are so many different ways you can play this game from start to finish, with so many legendary end bosses. Many that you'll see from the earlier Darius games to even later Darius games. This game is fucking awesome. Its music is interesting and awesome. Its colors are bright and vibrant. And though I'm not normally a big fan of polygon style graphics, this game was executed well by THQ. And this here boss, the Leviathan, is for sure my favorite boss in any Darius game. The Leviathan appears in every Darius game, and it is a badass, super huge prehistoric whale of firepower fury. Number 96, Test Drive Le Mans for the Dreamcast, known as 24 Hours Le Mans on the PlayStation 2, is number 96. Test Drive Le Mans is a must-own racing game for any racing enthusiast if you own a Dreamcast or PlayStation 2. Here I'm going to rip through 2 laps of Suzuka East. This is a simulation racing game that is still actually quite fun. Many people will say that simulation racing games are not as fun as arcade racers, and well, truth be told, I do agree with that. But some of them get it right, and Test Drive Le Mans or 24-Hour Le Mans gets that very, very right. This game has an unbelievable sense of speed, and each bump on the road, you feel that slip in the road. You'll feel your tires spin on certain angles as you lose grip off the ground while ripping around it. The changing of tires, the distribution of fuel that you can select at the start of a race for some long endurance races. It's very strategic, it's very realistic, but it's also very fun and arcadey as well. This game is smooth, it's crisp, it's clean, it's fun, and it is a fucking hidden gem of a racing game. Now, many good racing fans do know that this game is awesome, but just in case you don't know and you're looking to add something to your collection, or you're a racing fan and you haven't played this one, this is absolutely a must-own. And that right there were 2 amazing laps by yours truly. Number 95, The Ballad of Homosexual Tony. I'm trying to be politically correct. This game came out in 2009, so I don't know if calling it Ballad of Gay Tony is politically... The Ballad of Gay Tony, Grand Theft Auto. The Ballad of Gay Tony, originally released as downloadable content, later made physical, mixed in with The Lost and the Damned. The Lost and the Damned is a good Grand Theft Auto, but this is a much better Grand Theft Auto, and one that a lot of people sleep on. The Ballad of Gay Tony is absolutely awesome. It creates a huge sense of fun in Liberty City. You play as Louise, the main protagonist, who's a really cool, sensible character, and this game offers a whole lot. It included the parachuting, something Grand Theft Auto 4 didn't have, which was a whole ton of fun, to be able to see Liberty City from the tops of those tall skyscrapers, to be able to run a nightclub and dance in it in a quick time event style. It was just a whole lot of fun. Now, many gamers probably haven't spent much time in actual nightclubs, and while this game can't capture that level of fun, it does a pretty good job. This game has color, it has personality, it has character, it also has cage fighting, which is a really cool thing to include. It's Grand Theft Auto, so you can't go wrong. There are a whole bunch of memorable, hilarious missions, and many cool characters. This game felt it necessary to include Brucey's brother. If you all know the annoying Brucey from Grand Theft Auto, he makes an appearance in this game as well, and well, his brother has more of a part in this game. It also has this crazy, colorful character named Yusuf, And if anyone plays this game, let's just take a moment to say, Mikane Rab Money! Mikane Rab Money! He's just a over-the-top, crazy, hilarious, zany character, and you would expect nothing less from the Grand Theft Auto series. It's always been funny, it's always been entertaining, and the Ballad of Gay Tony certainly delivers. This game, for sure, in my opinion, is a bit of a hidden gem, because people are always talking about, San Andreas, or Grand Theft Auto 3, or Grand Theft Auto 5. And I honestly think GTA 4 and these two right here, Lost in the Dam and, Ballad of Gay Tony, got slept on a little bit. Number 95. Number 94. OutRun 2019 for the Sega Genesis. So another game I would consider incredibly underrated, and a game I think is debatably better than F-Zero, though I don't think it's quite that good. OutRun 2019 in the number 94 spot is a absolute amazing game. This is my fastest run ever here of Stage 1, and I am very proud to say that at the time, this was a world record. And more important than that, I'm one of two people that are able to be faster than the known fastest TAS runs. You know those cheating runs where people use computers to program perfect runs? Yeah, I'm faster. And that's absolutely insane to say that I'm able to beat a computer. Me and one other guy, we've done it. We did it. It's probably because we're able to think outside of the box and provide a certain level of strategy. I suppose if I were to make a task run, I could probably then beat my own best time because I would know and understand the game that much more. This game is crazy fun. Its music is absolutely outstanding. Its sense of speed is unmatched, second to none. It is crazy fast, crazy intense, and it's exhilarating to play. Its controls are absolutely perfect, and, the game itself is more or less perfect. It has tons of branching paths, multiple stages, and wicked music. Speaking of outstanding music, F-Zero for the Super Nintendo comes in the number 93rd spot. This game is absolutely brilliant. Its music is incredible, its controls are fantastic, and the weird thing is, everyone I knew growing up didn't like it, but I sure as hell did. A cool cast of Captain Falcon and Fire Stingray and Wild Goose and whatever that yellow car is that absolutely sucks in this game but is good in other F-Zeros. This game is wild. Its music's amazing. Its tracks are excellent. I do have one major gripe though. The random cars that have no chance of winning are only really designed to get in your way, slow you down, and make you crash and make you explode. Them right there. They're annoying and they serve no real purpose. This game is meant to be some authentic real racing, and those are a bit of a takeaway. This game would have been much better if it had 6 real competitors and no dummy cars. But outside of that, this game is otherwise flawless, and a true Super Nintendo classic that I think more people should play and speedrun. SoulCalibur. Keelik, Mitsurugi, Huang Song Yang, Voldo, Astaroth, Sophitia, Ivy, Nightmare, a whole list of amazing characters. Namco absolutely hit the nail on the head with this game, and this is a Dreamcast juggernaut of a game. If you don't like fighters, I don't know what your deal is, because they're absolutely awesome. They're fantastic couch co-op games, and this Dreamcast game offered a story mode which added tons of depth and unlockable characters like Lizard Man and other strange variants of all the base characters. Graphics, sharp as attack. Inferno here is my only gripe as he's an uncreative end boss, but overall, this is a Namco banger that needs to be in everyone's Dreamcast collection. It's awesome. Number 91 is an absolute masterpiece in a game many people might not know about. Heart of Darkness, created by the original creator of Out of This World. That French guy, I think his name is Eric something or other, He is a bit of a genius, and his imagination is absolutely incredible, as this game is absolutely incredible. It plays very similar to Flashback and plays very similar to Out of This World as well. It's created by the guy who made Out of This World, and if you love Out of This World, you will love Heart of Darkness. This game's graphics are very sharp, very pretty, very colorful, and very lively. It's a hard game, so I suggest your first playthrough you play it on easy, or else you will be pulling your hair out of your head playing it on normal. I actually failed my first attempt on normal and had to give up. I then played it on easy and learnt the game and got a little better at the game, and then I tackled it on normal. This is an absolute masterpiece and an incredible imaginative story. You traverse this alien world, climbing and exploring all over, fighting these crazy weird aliens of all different varieties. It's got some really corny, cringy cutscenes that actually are kind of hilarious, and some ridiculous difficult spots towards the end, but that adds to the sense of reward when you finally do get that victory. This game is incredibly imaginative and just altogether just brilliant. Number 90, Castlevania's Dracula's Curse. Shout out to the homie 21 Sandwich here. I'm using his footage from his No Death run. As he climbs up these stairs here, past these stained glass windows, this game looks absolutely beautiful. This is a fantastic Castlevania game and a fantastic series. It's not my favorite Castlevania game, but this one is new to me. I only beat it myself earlier this year, back in about February, March. And while I made a point of beating it a bunch of times, it has the multiple characters you can play and use, and well, I love Grant. I call him Little Shank because, well, he just sort of hops and climbs around and sticks to the walls and stabs people with a little knife. He's a fun, awesome character to use. But, you know, of course, using the Belmont here, I don't know if it's Simon or Theodore or Elvin. I'm not sure which Belmont it is, but, you know, it's classic Belmont whip action. The level design is smart. Konami literally did no wrong back in the day. It's absolutely incredible. The death battle was very, very difficult my first time. That was until I discovered Holy Water, and yeah, I can plow through him barely even taking a hit, if at all. Gotta give 21 Sandwich credit though. Doing the no death of this game is a very, very tall order and a very challenging thing to do. The end battle here with Dracula is a pretty awesome fight. It's not the hardest, especially when you know what to do, but overall this game is absolutely stellar and one awesome Castlevania game. Number 90. Number 89, Power Blade for the NES. That song is awesome. There's no other way to say it. That song is fucking wicked, and this game is absolutely kick-ass. It is so much damn fun. And, well, if you can get that Power Blade suit and keep it, you can rip through this game pretty easily. It's a pretty challenging game, but when you know what to do, it becomes pretty simple. This is one I've no death run, as I've death ran many, but this game was a very fun NDR to do. But more importantly, it was a very fun game to learn. This game has cool bosses, really engaging level design where you got to go through and save a hostage before you can reach the end boss. If you don't do that, you can't face them, you can't exit the level. This game does so many things right. It doesn't do anything wrong, in all honesty. It really doesn't. It's one of my favorite soundtracks ever in a video game. And if you haven't played Power Blade, I strongly suggest you do. Number 89, Power Blood. We need that game. Number 88, Castle of Illusion for the Sega Genesis. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Castle of Illusion, excluding Mickey Mouse and Sega Genesis? For me, it's the word whimsical, because that's exactly what this game is. It's cringy, it's corny, it's silly, it's fun, but one thing this game does every single time I play it is brings a big smile to my face. I think it does have something to do with the atmosphere of this game. Its music is incredibly silly and just happy and go lucky. It just sort of makes me laugh every time I put it on. However, its boss music is absolutely kick-ass and like rocking. I love Castle of Illusion. I love that background right there with those trees. They just look fantastic. This level, though, doesn't look the best. I do hate the pastel colors of this level, but I love its music. It's silly, it's funny, and its boss fights are actually pretty fun and pretty engaging. The game itself is rather easy, but it's just a game that I love to revisit every couple of years. It's just a fun, short, good time. It's retro gaming at its finest, and it's a classic Sega Genesis game that I just absolutely adore. And I think a lot of people agree with me because it got itself an awesome remake in 2010. Nowhere near as good as this, though. Let's be honest. Castle of Illusion, number 88. This level's actually tough and a real pain in the ass. The end boss is pretty cool, too. Thought it was neat that they went with the bitch from the end of Snow White. You know, that evil look into the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall bitch. Yeah, she's pretty easy though. Number 87, Tomb Raider for the PlayStation 1 was also released on the PC back in the day. This is a brand new game to me and a game that I only beat less than a month ago. While I was playing it, I was working on this series, and I'm like, you know what? I have a feeling this game is going to break its way into that top 150, and it sure did. This game has a real sense of isolation, and that alone makes it quite the experience. Considering how early of a 3D platformer this game is, I have to give it a ton of credit. It came out in 1996. Core design absolutely struck gold with this game. Though its controls are stiffer than a cheap steak that is 50% off and they're ready to sell it because its expiration is today, they are stiff. Oh boy, are they stiff. But you know what the irony is that the controls are good. They may be stiff as fuck, but it gives you everything you need. You're able to be as precise as possible. By using the R1 button, you're able to pivot and move around very slowly and even prevent yourself from falling off of ledges and platforms. The platforming is very, very addictive and very engaging. When you fail, you want to redo it and succeed, and you want to figure out, okay, when should I jump? When should I do this? And of course, the game has its interesting concept of fighting. There are very few humans you face in this game, and I kind of like that, and it adds to this sense of isolation that this game creates. Fighting the animals is definitely something that would piss off PETA, as you shoot gorillas, lions, wolves, and even a few dinosaurs, which really took me by surprise. I did a good job racking up health in this game, though this game is very, very difficult because the PlayStation version provides save crystals. Well, the PC version's definitely the superior version because it allows you to save whenever you want. And this is a horrific end boss. Be on the lookout for the remake coming in 2024, or should I say remaster, of the first 3 games. I'll be picking up a copy, and you should too. Land of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, number 86, in my opinion, is the best of the Illusion games. For the Master System and Game Gear, this is a very, very good game. I beat it for the first time about 3 years ago, and this game really stuck with me, so much so that I want to do the no death run. And the thing is that this game is actually rather difficult. It's low-key tough, but however, it's also not that hard. But it is a really good game, but its challenge definitely adds to the experience. On top of great level design and wicked music, it's whimsical at times, but also kind of badass at times. This for sure, ironically, is the best Illusion game, which kind of shocks me because you think at the time of this release in the early 90s, they would have been focusing more on the Genesis, and though Castle of Illusion is very good, this game is superior in just about every single way. And its final level is a very tough, crazy, maze-like labyrinth gauntlet that is definitely difficult to navigate. You should give this game a try. It's for sure a very, very good platform game, and probably the best Mickey Mouse game I've ever played. Number 85. Disney's Aladdin for the Sega Genesis. Number 85, Aladdin for the Sega Genesis, has some of the best graphics from the 16-bit era. I have come to determine that this game's graphics will hold up the test of time forever. They're just that perfect. And I will not let anybody tell me that the Super Nintendo version by Capcom is better. Now, to each their own. Art is subjective. If some people like that game better, that's perfectly fine and they're entitled to that opinion, but I just personally can't see how anyone could come to that conclusion. This game's graphics by far are more superior, its music by far is more fitting, and audio quality and orchestra music to that of the actual movie. Everything about this game is by far superior in my opinion. But with that being said, how is this game without comparing it to the Super Nintendo version? It's extremely fun. Now, its hit detection with the sword is a little bit suspect and not absolutely perfect, but the jumping, the platforming, the throwing of the apples is all very precise and very perfect. It's just overall a very fun game with some really cool levels. And while this game is definitely nostalgic for me and my friends rented this game a lot as kids. We did not beat it as kids, but we all absolutely loved it. And it was one of those must-play Genesis games that had Super Nintendo fans jealous. Back in the day, the reality is no one was bragging about the Super Nintendo version. It was all about this version, and looking at it, you can see why. It's a fantastic game and a classic on the Genesis. Number 84. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Game Gear, and its superior version on the Sega Master System is number 84. I got a ton of nostalgia for this game, so that could be part of the reason why it is so high up on the list, but that doesn't change the fact that this is actually a very good game. Both Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, you could say Sonic Chaos as well, are actually very good Sonic games. And well, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 for the Game Gear Master System actually play quite a bit different. Now, I know people often critique some of the 16-bit Sonics because you actually have to slow down and platform like you would in any other game, but for some reason people criticize Sonic games for having to slow down because, well, I guess you're meant to go fast. Well, just because he's meant to go fast doesn't mean his obstacles aren't going to slow him down. He has the ability to be fast, and in a game that's going to slow you down, you can still be crazy fast, but when you're learning it, you're probably going to want to go a little bit slow and learn the levels. This game has some incredible level design. It does introduce that flying hang glider, which really is kind of a pain, but it's also not that bad either. I like that it still includes the Lambert Zone. Well, one thing I love most about this game is the fact that its very first level isn't some green hill zone or emerald hill zone, some just simple green level. It's this cool minecart level, which is totally original and totally different, and it actually does something different. Another great thing about this game is that it actually rewards you for getting all the emeralds and giving you 2 extra levels in reaching the actual end boss. Though you can feel somewhat satisfied beating the game without getting the emeralds, it's not the true ending. This is a good one. Number 83, Capcom's Codename Viper from the Nintendo. Now, there's no question that I have definitely a unique taste in games, but seeing as how popular the NES is, and well, how popular Capcom was back then, I find it incredibly shocking that I don't see more people playing this game. Now, I understand it's a bit of a thought-provoking shooter, meaning that it's just not an all fast run-and-gun game, that you have to be very smart about how you move through the levels, and seeing as that it's 2 hits until you're dead, Unless you're good, you can upgrade and find hidden health pieces to give you extra hits, but in a lot of cases, one bullet will instantly drop you and kill you. So it's a very challenging game, and I'm very proud to say that I have no death ray in this game. It's a very, very good game. It's definitely inspired by Rolling Thunder, but Capcom knows what they're doing, and well, they took a good source of inspiration and made a really good game of their own. It's not as good as Rolling Thunder 2, but Capcom makes good games, and Codename Viper 100% is one of those. The objective for sure is to save the enemies, but you have to find the bomb obtained guy. You cannot complete the level until you find him. He's basically your prisoner of war that you need to capture and gather information from so you can proceed to the next levels. Awesome, awesome game. Number 83, Codename Viper. Number 82, Super Mario Galaxy. Though I'm not a big fan of the Nintendo Wii, I was a big fan of Mario Galaxy. This game's graphics are beyond bright and colorful, and its level design is extremely creative and innovative. The small worlds that you run around is very interesting, but it does wear thin relatively quickly. But it's a good thing that the game does change it up in later levels and goes to more of a Mario 64 style. Though blasting around from these little worlds to little worlds, it's such an incredibly creative idea, and that's something Nintendo did better than anybody. Is with each passing generation, Nintendo always finds new ways to reinvent themselves and new ways to reinvent their characters. Super Mario Galaxy is a pretty well-known, fantastic game. I don't feel like as many people has played it as they did Super Mario World or Mario 3 or Mario 64. Just like Mario Sunshine, I feel like more people just somehow missed this game. It's a very, very good game. It did invent the ice flower here, you know, and as you can see there, he doesn't have his ice flower suit like he does in the new Mario Brothers, because, you know, it was still a new idea at the time. But this was a very fun game to complete, and when I did complete it, I did go for all 120 stars, and boy, it wasn't all that difficult, I'll be honest, but it sure as hell was a lot of fun. This is a very quality game. Number 81, The Chains of Olympus, God of War. Originally released on the PSP, here on the PlayStation 3 is number 81. One thing I loved about the PlayStation 3 is that they took the liberty of, giving physical pack-in titles like Ghost of Sparta and here Chains of Olympus together on one disc. I would never own a PSP, as well. Truth be told, handheld systems were never my cup of tea, but I am blown away with how good this game looks. And well, God of War games are absolutely fantastic. And though this isn't the best entry in the God of War series, it's more of what you love. Swinging those blades of chaos as Kratos, one of the coolest characters ever created in video game history, has some awesome level designs. It's like a straight up beat 'em up with some platforming, some puzzle elements, and just wicked awesome Greek mythology just done right. Sony definitely knocked it out of the park with this character and this series. It's God of War. Like, it speaks for itself. It's Kratos. It's just absolutely awesome. And there's something about this game in particular that I find awesome, where he meets his daughter Calliope and he finds out that he just is destined to not be with her, and it just adds to his fueling rage. Something I can kind of relate to. God of War, Chains of Olympus is number 81. This right here, number 80, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Wii U, later re-released on the Nintendo Switch, is a must-play game for any Donkey Kong fan, Nintendo fan, platform game fan. This is a really, really damn good game. And you could tell that the people who created this game wanted to make good of the originals. Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii was a very good game, but this game is significantly better in a lot of ways. Man, its graphics are absolutely breathtaking, colorful, bright, vibrant to the absolute max. It gives the introduction of playing as Cranky Kong, where you bounce around on his stick, kind of like DuckTales pogo stick. It introduced the rocket, which is pretty awesome and a cool gaming mechanic. Its boss fights, though, are the most memorable part about it to me. Not only are they cool, epic, they're hard. Fighting off this seal is cool. This owl is a pretty awesome boss fight. Beating the 3 mandrill monkeys is pretty absolutely kick-ass, and they're all quite difficult and definitely take a handful of turns to learn. It's very engaging and very smart and really well put together. This is a superb video game. My favorite boss of the bunch, though, for sure, has to be this big ass polar bear right here. He's like a Viking with his axe. It's really creative stuff. The walrus as the final boss, all fitting that freeze of the tropical freeze element to the game. It's really wicked. The only thing it's missing is the Kremlins. Outside of that, this is a fantastic game. Number 79, Super Nintendo Super Mario World, is a very good game. Pack-in title with the Super Nintendo back in 1991. As a Genesis fan and a Genesis owner back then, I have to admit that when I went to my friends' houses, I was definitely a little jealous and a little envious that they had this game and I didn't. Well, a good 20 years later, I would get to play it, and though it's not as good as everyone makes it out to be, and some people consider it the best Mario game of all time, and some people consider it one of the best games ever made, well, art is subjective and that's their opinion, and no one can be wrong when it comes to that. In my opinion, it's definitely overrated, but that doesn't mean it's not good. It is a very good game with some awesome, clever level design, a lot of cool bosses. The end fight with Bowser is wicked, and more importantly, I think the introduction of the ghost houses is a really awesome, creative, cool thing that Super Mario World created. And, well, it also gave us Yoshi, who is obviously awesome, right? Let's be real. Number 78. Rare's Killer Instinct. I pity the fool who has to face me with TJ combo. You're going to get your ass whipped. This game is absolutely fantastic. It is for sure one of my favorite fighters of all time. Super Nintendo version specific as well. Absolutely adore this game. Its music is wicked intense. The combo system that it created, for me, this is just by far way better than Mortal Kombat. Hey, no shade to Mortal Kombat fans or the Mortal Kombat franchise, but for me, Killer Instinct for sure was the best fighting game in the 16-bit era, in my opinion, even better than the Street Fighter games. It was just so fast and so smooth, and I just feel like Rare were such good programmers that they made the moves just feel so much easier to perform and more natural as well. And learning all those combos was just as engaging, as badass as anything I can think of. Cool characters like Fulgore, Orchid, Thunder, and just hearing them scream, Master Combo, King Combo, and Awesome Combo, Triple Combo, Hyper Combo, and Ultra, and fuck Idol. He's cheap as fuck. God of War for the PlayStation 2 is a banger. I got it on the PlayStation 3. Is number 77. Number 77, God of War indeed. Has to be one of the biggest game changers in video game history. Just They did absolutely everything right with this game. Though it's not my favorite God of War, its graphics for the PlayStation 2 at the time just were like next level. And just Kratos is a character is just so awesome. I think it's absolutely amazing that Sony was able to add to Greek mythology on some level. I remember when I heard about this and I was like, well, there already is a God of War, Ares. Well, yeah, then I played the game and find out that you fight and kill Ares, which is a pretty awesome epic battle. Looking at this crazy, awesome epic battle right now, we never saw anything like this ever, fighting that three-headed Hydra. We never saw anything like this. It was in a league of its own. And like I said, them creating a story where you fight and kill Greek gods with their own creation, Kratos, who fits right in quite naturally, by the way. You know, for any young kids these days learning about Greek mythology, if they didn't know or were taught that Kratos was created by Sony, they'd have to be told. They would think he fits right in there with the rest of them. I always thought it was really awesome here, too, where you climb on to Zeus's father's back, Kronos, who is carrying the temple of Pandora as you search for Pandora's box. In my opinion, is where the game starts to slows down a little bit and gets a little puzzle heavy. It's just an absolutely revolutionary, amazing game that would, launch the franchise to where it is today. Hell, by the way, looks awesome too. This game is just beyond a classic, beyond legendary, and Kratos is just beyond cool. Wielding the blades of chaos is just next level kick-ass, and there's nothing quite like it unless you play some of its sequels that are a little bit superior. When I think of an arcade cabinet that I pumped an infinite amount of quarters into, it is Marvel Superheroes. I dumped a lot of money into this game. I was a huge Marvel comic books fan growing up in the late 80s and early 90s. And while I did love Street Fighter games, but you know what I love more than Street Fighter characters? Marvel characters. And when I saw this game enter my arcade, my head spun off like a top. I was just blown away. I would play this game so damn much, so often, every single time I visited the mall and other arcades as well. There was other malls that it was in, and well, I got to the point where I was adding high scores to cabinets throughout my area, and I love this game so much. There's just not enough good things I can say about it. I love that Dr. Doom is the second end boss, because Dr. Doom is awesome, and I really love that Thanos was the end boss. I was like, when I played it, I was like, I hope Thanos is the end boss. And when I got to him and he was, I was just like, fuck yes, this game means so much to me as far as the arcade world goes, and boy do I miss that arcade era. And this game just lit up my eyes and ears like no other. This game is just absolutely awesome. Marvel characters are super awesome, and good on Capcom for making this one. Maximum Spider all the way there to Thanos. I love me some Marvel superheroes. This game is just wicked, and it's what started the Marvel vs. Capcom games too. If you've gotten this far, thank you very much. That's 25 more games down. That's 75 games done so far over 2 videos. We're halfway there. We got 75 to go. So be on the lookout for part 3, where I talk about games 75 to 51. Let me know. Jump in the comments. Have any of the games I've spoke about, do they resonate with you? Are they some of your favorites? Let me know if there's some games you're worried might not make my list. Please like this video, and please share it, as this is a passion project. It has been so engaging and so fun to think about the games that have impacted my life over the past 41 years. I've been gaming since age 3, so I guess that's 38 years. It's just a really cool concept to think about, after the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games I've beaten, which ones are my favorite. And it's just been so fun to talk about it, and think about it more in depthly and share this with you. So again, please jump in the comments and let me know some of your favorites from this video. And just let me know some of your favorites in general. With that being said, guys, keep it cool, keep it classy, and always retro game and modern game. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. And be on the lookout for part 3.